said, come on, just like the Imam, just into prayer. I do that to him all the time. You must. I said, forget it, man. I don't. But people it's just wonderful to know a little bit about people and for them to, the thing I was going to mention is, they'll take you home. And if you spend it, they say, how much you spend on your way you live? I saw that down there, the Four Seasons or four, the Western, Best Western. Now over there, Best Western is Best Western. It ain't like Best Western here.
Like a 5-star hotel?
Yeah, it's 5 stars. 4 or 5 stars is top of the line. How much you pay? I tell them what it got on the wall. I just, good God Almighty, that's about a 2 months salary, you know, per day. But the people are paying for it. Oh, you gotta come on. You gotta come. No, you can't. And this can happen anywhere, all the time. People will try to take you home. It happens all the time with Iran. When I get to some places, there's somebody on the plane that know me. You gonna be down there in them big hotels? I said, people are paying for it. You might have programs. You gotta come home. I said, I can't do it because of it. Maybe after the program or something, but right now I gotta go to this is the human relations, very serious. I'm gonna try to pick it up a little bit. Now, what we're doing and where we at right now reminds us of what the Khutbah was about a week or so ago. It was about Ulibiyya. And that's, we have given you a manifest victory. The stage we're in right now is clear, it's a manifest victory. Already. We're moving forward. But what we are doing and what we have done is already a clear, manifest victory. And it reminds us of the ayats that you will travel, or the ayat, the way I like about it, you will ride from stage to stage. That's one of the other things being grateful about, is riding or traveling from stage after stage. In the last year, we have evolved probably 3 stages just being here. But it's not like we've just been sitting here. The world has been moving on, and if we have a meeting or a talk, and the point that we're making by being here is all very unique, and it deserves the attitude of gratitude. A lot of times, people are concerned about our allies, and they judge by the people that support you, the people that you have around. Well, you know, I say it all the time, and it's super true. When Allah got you hooked up to do something, He'll put you through the training before you even realize it. So this training about being by yourself. When I went overseas, I went by myself. Everywhere I went by myself. When everybody got there, we was already hooked up. When they got to South America, we already hooked up. Connections rolling, having a good time already. When the people joined the Masjid out there in Oakland, they try to make it look like that they did all this. When they got there, everything was rolling already. In process. So, this veiled threat that they try to put on people about if you try to do good, you're going to have to do it all alone. That's common. The do-gooders always go through a period when they flat out by themselves. Some go through poor Noah. He did 900 years, 950, but we just say he did 900 years basically by himself. His dumb kids sure wasn't with him, right? So can you imagine how much?
You know, I was reading about Prophet Hud today.
Right.
In the Surah Hud.
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't concentrate on him because he came right after Noah.
Yes, yes.
And he had the same attitude. And when I talk about that attitude, I think about this.
Right.
They say, you got to understand, that the people that he talking bad to ain't no sissies. Right. They're the most powerful people of their day. And he's telling them basically, look, you don't like what I'm doing? Do what you got to do. Come on with it. And when you get into the Tafsir, not to be long-winded, when you get into the Tafsir, right. Hey man, it's like, the only reason he can do this is because he got total confidence in Allah. Total confidence. Because he's by himself, basically. And he talking to a powerful system. They got this, that, and other. The people, the odd people. I said, man, this is some serious stuff here. And see, when you read that stuff, and you kind of know somebody that kind of did some stuff like that similar, then it's crystal clear. It has nothing to do with numbers. You know, it has to do with faith and commitment. And what you're going to do with it. And Allah got all that other stuff covered. In other words, make a long story short, like you say, they got to try it. You got to give it a try. Try it sometime. Try a little bit of Islam. You're surprised.
Well, one thing about reading the Quran, you have to be blind not to see present realities in it. Okay, you think about what we have already done. The whole system, the so-called allies. I never mentioned about how the allies, so-called friends, backstabbing and throat-cutting stuff that they've been doing ever since Dr. Khalid Siddiqui passed. It's unbelievable. But you know what? I looked at one of these things on YouTube today. I looked at the one of about 5 or 6 years ago when we was in Tehran, Muhammad Al-Asi and myself and Sister Marzia on Press TV. It was about a half-hour program. And when I look at all of the people that we deal with, and we look at how things come out, when they have the Negro here and the supposedly know-it-alls in this question and discussion, I can see how they try to get rid of it. Because they just don't measure up. And this supposed to be their area of expertise. Where they from, all they people. You know what we always talk about the stages. It's a protracted struggle. It'll be stage 1, stage 2, stage. When I looked at that today, I realized I laid that same thing out at that because it was around 2011. I'll tell you when it was. It had to be September 17th because the Wall Street movement started about that same day, September 17th. And that's about the same day that we started that dialogue. The point is this. We have not had any friends in this mission. We're not going to say whether it's jealousy, meanness, anger, whether people are police officers. All of those things are not important. The important thing is that we have survived it all and thrived on it. Yeah.
As you're talking, it keeps coming to my head when you said certain imams, when you were going to establish something here, said it's not going to be any movement in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. But this is the same thing. Now, you got to think about it. In Oakland, everybody there is on that team. Think of the people that came through here. If you think over all those years, some of them was FBI police, like some of them was in the intelligence services and the Navy, and then they come, oh, you like Islam? Sure, good. And one of the guys, the FBI police, he took me to a gun show, buy guns. So I said, sure, you have to use your ID. When he realized what was happening, sometime later, because I said, okay, now we got these guns, SKS and all that, I invited the other police, clear police, little old black-looking Ali. Remember him, the little Salafi?
Of course. Kamur.
Whatever his name was, yeah. His stepdaddy called him police too. He was China Boy's cousin or something like that. So I said, hey man, I want you to come and show me how to use this. So I handed it to him, and he got to fumbling with it, and then he threw it like that. He realized what I was doing. I got his prints on it, I got the police, so I just picked it up gently and put it away. Then I took it to Philadelphia. The Negroes made sure that boy disappeared, the Mossberg and the SKS, because I had their fingerprints on them and they bought it. The same thing with the old the security-minded person next door. Well, you got it here? I said, sure. So somewhere out there, go ahead and get it. It's on his ID. It's his ID. You know, they should have got, but anyway, man, this dean had you so well prepared that historically, the human being is always in charge of his own evolution, whether he knows it or not. He can relinquish his own growth, development, and evolution to a system, a job, or whatever. He could relinquish that right. But in general, the challenges that he faced, what he chooses to be or become will have to do with his own development. If he has big hopes, dreams, and aspirations, he's going to have to evolve in order to get there. And that evolution will automatically come because he can't arrive at that great destiny without developing, right? Has to develop. It's a normal rule. So mankind technically is in charge of his own evolution. Thing about us that we're not reporting history, we're making history. We have already made history. It's not bragging. There's no Negroes or white folks that faced the government face to face for no 35 years. You the bad guy, we're the good guy. Ain't nobody did that. And the people that lit out on that, they didn't last too long because it wasn't their time to complete. They completed their mission. Same thing with Malcolm, 12 years king, about 12 years, 1952 to 1965, 13 years. 1956, 1968, king, 12, 13 years. All basically, each one of them did what they had to do at that time. But none of them have even reached 10% of the fitna that we have had to deal with, because it's a different time. It's just, and the only thing that we haven't got is the Nobel Peace Prize. But they said, Dr. King, Malcolm met with leaders all over the world, so are we. Everywhere we go. When they had the tsunami, in Sri Lanka and all that, Hafiz Malana, I heard him on the radio. And that's why we raised a few dollars for the tsunami. Why? Because the brother that was the governor of that region, we just spoke on a platform together a month or two before. You see? So it just don't seem like it. You know why it don't seem like it? Because the white man have not put us in a press. So therefore, if the white man don't put us in a press, it's not important to the other people. If you was important, I had family members say that till they learn. I said, oh, they like that. So you go by the job, the time in, the obstacles and challenges faced and overcame. I said, it ain't nobody that's had many cases, as many fitness, as many fines, as many. They hung somebody up in the airport. I've been hung up in the airport every time I go, and been held back from planes in South Africa, but took to the crazy house in Oakland. You know what I mean? They call it 5150. They waiting out front of your house and mess with you, and they say, well, you are a danger to yourself. They can't arrest you. So they said, we taking you. They told me, we're taking you to see John George. I said, John George is dead. He was one of the black councilmen from Oakland. I knew him. I said, no, John George is dead. What they was telling me, that they're taking me to the crazy house. The Alameda County psychiatric ward is called John George, after him. So they say, we take me to John George. You know what the people told me? Your blood pressure is 275 over something or other. I said, hey man, you must be crazy. That's what they was telling me. I got enough. That's what they did. They took my blood pressure. You would have been dead. You should have been walking dead. My eyes would have busted, popped out of my head. Now they said that twice. They said it in Oakland. Now, that's when they took me to the crazy house. All I did went to the crazy house, and I told the first nurse, but first of all, the guard there, Imam Musa. I said, Assalamu alaikum, how's everything? Like African guy. You know where the Africans do the security here? Yeah, just push that down a little bit or push it up, whatever you like. Push it down, keep cutting off. Yeah, I see him keep kicking on and off. So, the next head nurse, she walked by, I said, what church you go to? I go to Allen Temple. I said, would you call Pastor Smith and tell him they got Miss Ream's boy down here at the crazy house? He's the biggest pastor, a friend of family friend, He called, pretty soon everybody in town knew it. And what I did up in there, when they put me up on the ward, I was up there counseling everybody, because some of the people was really crazy. I had a line. And I was getting ready, then they come tell me, well, you gotta go. I said, I'm busy, man. I got to all the people. And then a Negro, salt and pepper, a Negro. I thought he was now all the other brothers there, a lot of brothers working there. And I said, where you from? I'm from Chicago. How long you been here? I said, y'all know Big Hank? I heard of him. I came, I said, well, that's me. They got the poor brother up here. We talking and kicking back. And then when they trying to kick me out, the Negro, I thought he looked like a doctor, but he was some kind of aide around there. You got to go, man. And the other brothers that worked there said, man, this brother is giving a lot of assistance to people. You got to leave him alone. You know, so finally
making their job easy.
Well, no, what I'm doing is I'm just having a good time. Y'all gonna harass somebody. The point is, you turn everything to a benefit. And what we do to the government, see, you got to realize what we doing to the government. We clowning the government. The whole United States government. We clowning them. Everything we do, we making fun of them. See, the thing is, we changing the whole system. Everybody is scared of the FBI. But us. Right? You know why? We clean as a whistle. We're not breaking any laws. You can do anything you want, but it don't have no effect. Like old Khadijah called, you broke now. You talk like you ain't been broke in 50 years. You know, that's a dead giveaway. How do you know what I'm saying in Juma unless somebody calling you and telling you, and you in California, and why would you call me after you stole with government help? They giving you that. Actually, they're not giving it to them. They ain't giving them niggas that money. They just holding it to make you mad. And we're not mad. The reason we stayed here a whole year, it'll be a year, when we get back there, we will have been here a year. Can you imagine? To let them know, you don't run nothing. You can do anything you want, but it don't matter. You don't run nothing.
Insignificant.
You don't set no style for us. See, other people, they was looking at us like, oh man, they did this. And the people, did they really take your money? They was looking all. I said, look, man, if you're going to look like that, you don't have to visit the brother because you got the wrong idea. Some of them I'd pull them to the side and try to tell them, but they still didn't get it. They were looking at things like, if the government did that to me or anybody else, we would fold up. And why you got to challenge the government anyway? Can't you do something else? You know?
They're looking at the situation through the eyes of the oppressor, not through the eyes of Islam.
And through our eyes, yeah, through our eyes. If we running this show, then we have evolved. If that would have happened 40 years ago or more, yeah, it would have been terrible. But this is not 45 years ago. This is now. And we have rolled from stage to stage. And we have risen above him. See, remember at first he started off as the oppressor. He is the oppressor. And he is oppressive to everybody that he come in contact with. But the way we see it is, at first he's an oppressor, but he's not an oppressor to us. Why? Because we have, through our process of management, structure, and organization, we moved it from the oppressed to becoming, as we said before, competing with him. See, they lie on us and they have their people do the stuff, and we come back. You know, those simple DVDs that's on there. Okay, whether they know it or not, it don't make us a difference. The thing is, they're there. You know what it is? It exposes why these people are acting so stupid. Because no Negro is supposed to get involved in white folks' business and out white folks, all the white folks, all the Arabs, and all of them. I mean, to us devastating. I didn't realize, I mean, I looked at something, I said, no wonder. Because I ain't looked at them hard. You know, every time I look at one, I say, good God Almighty. And I'm sitting there with the street prayer, and that's where that same thing that we've been talking about here, I had said it then, at that time, and laid out the whole process, you know, and guess what? That process is happening and is real. That's why they're going crazy. Just like when they told me to skip back a minute, your blood pressure is 275 over 77. Now, 1 week later, I was walking down to do some painting, and the woman had one of those old mean dogs tied by the pole. I thought it was just a regular old, you know, whatever the old mean dog. Pit bull, that's what it is. Now, I saw her walk across the street with her. I said she wouldn't have him out if he was that mean. Lo and behold, I walked by, and that boy gave me a good, he bit me right here. And I didn't realize how deep I felt. I said, good God, you know, felt the warm blood coming out, and I was taking them blood thinners. I mean, that tooth that went in looked like almost an inch, at least between a ½ inch and 3/4 inch. Now, I went back to the same hospital that I had been to the week before. First they took me to San Leandro Hospital, then they took me to the crazy house. They took my blood pressure. You know what my blood pressure was? 135 over 80, something, almost perfect.
Right.
For my age. I said, abdul-alim, ASS crackers. Now, going to the crazy house is definitely not, if my blood pressure's up because I'm juiced up about something. Now, a dog bite is
Much more dramatic.
yeah, this isn't real. I said, this dog. I said, dog, you actually, you Lord, I was actually cussing the dog out, and I didn't go to cut him or nothing. I said, lady, you gotta get that dog and take that. You can't have that mutt out here biting people and carrying on. My blood pressure was 135 over 80, almost perfect for my age. I said, he's lying about the crackers, talking about my blood pressure was 200. Same thing they said when they took me to jail down here, when they had the two girls over here pretending. Your blood pressure is 237 and 97. I said, do you want certain treatment? I said, I want nothing. I don't believe my blood pressure. I don't feel no different. And I know my eyes. I said, let me see the mirror. I said, you see my eyes, they still in sockets. They ain't popping out or nothing. I said, I got enough to know that if my blood pressure was triple what it ought to be, you know what I mean, I'd feel some kind of dizzy or stupid.
You would.
Or pass out. You know.
Part of this psychology process I've noticed is to convince people on whatever level they're on that what they say is true. That's right. Because they do it in sports all the time. You know, if you're watching sports and something go down and they wanted to go the way they wanted to go, they'll report it, not like what really happened. And then most people go along with it and say, yep, that's how it is. And so that's part of their psychology process. They do that all the time.
All the time. Now, here's what we're doing.
Engineering.
Yeah. We're teaching the people, though. We didn't reverse this on. We're teaching the people what you can do and how to do it. We're teaching them how to avoid the traps how not to get assassinated, and da-da-da-da-da, how to avoid the traps. Don't accept nothing that's abnormal, or this is a special thing for us. You know, you can teach some of it they're going to learn on their own. But avoid them manipulating you into their environmental circumstances. Avoid that. And then whatever happens, you influence the environment to be the way you want. Influence things to go in the direction that you want. This is what we call strategic innovation. Strategic innovation is when you change from being oppressed to competition to predator. We're predators on the system. The system is so uncomfortable it don't know what to do. We're a predator. They're not a predator on us anymore. No, no, no. They can do stuff, right? They can take me to jail, but they can't do it. For 2 hours, a month. You can divert money or you have to give it back. The cases that they gave out there, whatever they was doing, they was trying to give me a case where you can't lose. Like the stuff that they did, you can't lose. And we can't lose even if going into their courthouse means that you're going into their jurisdiction. That's why we fighting our case first out here. But it's not just us. It's the whole history of abuses. And Allah will place things in a way to where you don't even understand fully the whole scope of things. See, we're going all the way back to 1966 with a timeline of literally every incident. Not right now. Right now we're going out and we're dealing with that. You know, we just sold for $10 million. We can't lose. We done already got more value than the little $100,000 they took. I say little is because we're in a different stage of thinking. And that stage of thinking definitely determines the kind of wealth you come across, the kind of challenges you face. It's how you think about it. See, if we thought about, well, we'll fix a little knicky-knack around here, do this, that, and other, get some old cars and put new engines in them. No, we're not going to do that stuff. We'll buy newer, better. Not buying nothing you got to fix up, right? Nothing that to sit around in the yard and acquire dust. No. I mean, your thinking will determine the level